Hey, happy birthday. I'm gonna show you how to make your eyebrows look better. Alright, I'm gonna do it with just the products that you have. I'm not gonna do dip route, just because personally I don't use dip route with other products all the time. And I think this might be easier for you at first. So you're gonna wanna start with your brow definer and just like comb through your brows, make sure they're nice. I also always take a makeup remover and I wipe my brows because I tend to put moisturizer just like all over my face and it gets in the brows. So I will just wipe that off so that I don't get like extra product in them. And then I would also highly, highly, highly recommend that this is your very, very first step of makeup. I never do my eyebrows at the end like a lot of makeup artists do. I just like to do them first so that I can have more control over how they look. So you're gonna want to start at the highest point of your brows. Okay, so that for me is right here and here. I need a small mirror. Hold on. Okay. So from the top, you're gonna want to have it shaped the pen so that the um, like angled bit, the pointier side is facing like out so that I have like more like strokes. So I brush my brows down just so that I can get like a better shape and get the product on my skin more so than on the hair because that will just last longer and look better. But we'll still get the hairs after. But first, we're just going to try and kind of concentrate on the skin. So just kind of like following my natural, but so I shave my tails off. So this part I shape myself. I just personally like to shape my own tails. So while you're complaining that yours got accidentally shaped like that, I'm over here intentionally shaping like that. But so it doesn't matter like how neat. So this looks like ass, but we'll fix it. Just for starters, you just kind of want to get the product there. So I just use like light strokes. Everything Anastasia is very highly pigmented, so I just use very, very light strokes and just kind of keep going until I fill this space. So this part we're not like creating hair-like strokes or anything. We're literally just creating shape and filling in anywhere that's patchy. We'll get to the detail step after. And obviously, if you don't want to do the detail, you could end it like this, once you shape it up a bit. But I think you'll want the false hairs. I think that that's probably what's bothering you the most right now is that your brows were natural and now they're not. So I'll show you how to do the fake hairs, but first we need to get like a shape that I actually like. So okay, now I'm gonna do the other side, try to get it as even as possible. So before going back, I'll go back to this side. I just like my cat eye, I will kind of just get to a certain point before I move over so that I can make sure they're even before I'm too like committed to a shape and can't fix it. So when I hit like that point of where I'm happy with the brow shape, I will switch to my other brow and do the same thing. Getting your brows even though when you shave the ends, I will say that's going to be the hardest part. but it is possible. But it's also why I would suggest doing this first rather than like last, like you might have used to do. So this brow tends to cooperate just a little bit better because it's on my dominant side. So the stuff on your dominant side of your face tends to be easier, look better, etc. So my right side is always easier. So I will personally always start with my left side because it's my non-dominant hand. And so if I buck up on my left side, if I am doing my left side and I like where I got, it's way easier for me to match it on this side because this is my dominant side. Whereas if I start over here, like I got this really nice flawless brow where like this one's not as nice, it took longer, like that can be frustrating for me also. So I just will start with this side, the harder one, and then I'll move to the easier one. So this brow looks great. I'm super here for it. That was really easy. I love when that happens. Don't be discouraged if your brows like take a while though, because sometimes my brows are like like this. That just happens so quickly and it looks great. Like I could just shape it up a little bit. And then other times like, this, I'm still not in love with it. It looks a little crooked, but whatever. And then there are days where it takes me like an hour to do my brows. So if like at first it's taking you a long time, like don't be discouraged. It just takes practice. Like, I've been doing this every single day for like, I don't know, 15 years. So it's pretty easy for me now, but as you do it more, it will get really easy. So now I'm just like kind of filling in like the whole brow, like patchier areas. Obviously, if you don't want to do this, you don't need to because your brows are naturally darker than mine, but just for my brows, since they're white naturally, although they are dyed right now, I typically will shade in like the whole thing. And then like the edge over here, like with this pencil, it's good to get like a nice like sharp tail, and then we're gonna like clean everything up as well. And then another thing that you'll want to make sure is that you're going to the same spots on each side. So you don't want to stop like here on one side and like to here. So I try to do it like kind of just to where I would almost do my cat eye is how I do it. However, if I am doing like more makeup, I won't do my brows so curved. I'll kind of almost intentionally do how your brows are waxed right now, like kind of like Spock, where they go out a little bit more because then it gives me more surface area to work with. So it just kind of depends. But the beauty of not having tails is you can change the shape of your brows. So I typically go like just to about this length on the side. I don't want them like too long. Um, but we can also adjust that like at any point in the makeup stage. So it's not, if you get it a little crooked or you decide you want to go to a little longer or whatever, it's like not a big deal. So now that I feel good about how it's filled in, I want to blend it out just so it's a little bit more natural looking. So the spoolie on the end, make sure it's clean, and then I'm just gonna brush through my brows and just kind of like make sure that it's getting spread out and is not like looking patchy or that you can see any like pen strokes or anything. And then also when it starts blending, I can see where I might need to fill in again, which is typically for me going to be my arch or my tail because I don't have hair there. So where I do have hair, it tends to grip the product just a little bit better. So I'm just going to fix like right here. So hopefully you can see like what I'm just kind of doing like light, gentle strokes, but I'm not trying to make hair strokes right now. I'm just like coloring it in. But I just do like gentle light strokes so that it does look a little bit more natural. And then I don't usually put a lot of product here. I just like that look for me better, but obviously do whatever you want. Okay. I feel good about the shape and how it's filled, but I want to make this sharper, clean it up a bit before we start doing some false hairs. So I'm just gonna comb it through one more time just to like make sure it's all blended and stuff. Then this is like the most important step, in my opinion, for getting your brows to look like really good. A lot of like influencers and stuff do this with concealer, like carve out the brows. I personally think that looks like shit. It just does not look natural on anyone, especially in person. Shit looks terrible. So I take a pointed Q-tip and I put my spit on it because I don't give a fuck. But honestly, you could use whatever, like makeup remover. And basically, I'm just gonna clean up my brows, mainly the tails. So the tails are gonna be what I'm focusing on because I want them to have a sharp point. That's how I like my brows to look. Like this one is like pretty good already. I don't need to do that one too much, but this one's a little chubby. So I'll do just like a little bit from the top and the bottom just to kind of make it a little bit sharper. And that tends to bring the brow down just a smidge as well because like I said, I don't have hair there, so like the product will just smear. This is another time why I would also recommend Anastasia products is because they are waterproof, and if you don't have the hair for it to stick to, like that shit will just slide everywhere. So this one I just like kind of fucked up a little bit. I don't like love what I just did with that shape. It's like a little too crooked, so I'm just gonna fix that really quick. Right, so now that I'm done with that, and they're a little crooked, like this one I always have a higher arch on, it's just how my eyebrows grow, but there's like not really anything I can do about that without completely like reshaping my brows. But that's another reason why I would suggest starting at the highest point of your brow as well, is so that you can kind of try and make them like as evenly arched so that it doesn't look like you're like surprised like okay, so now that we've done that and we're cleaned up a bit, we're gonna start making some false hairs now. So you're gonna want to use your marker. I would recommend storing this upside down so that the paint like stays in this. And the trick to doing false hairs is by spacing the lines out. So how I just did it, where it was like every line was next to each other, it's not gonna look like hair because it's just gonna be filled in. So you want it to be like spaced out a little bit so that it actually looks like hairs. So, and you wanna do it in the direction your hair actually grows. So again, I'm gonna start at the highest point of my brow, and I'm just gonna like pink, 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 tink, tink, tink. I wish that this camera was better, but basically I'm just going through, putting in some strokes. So like, if you can see that in person, they look like actual little pieces of hair. And then we can clean it up as well if we want it to be just like a little bit more shapely. And then another reason I like this marker is I do like a sharper point, and so I will typically just kind of like sharpen it out a bit. So now I don't know if you can really tell the difference, but in person it does look a lot different. Like now there's hair strokes, so it looks like there's hair. Just the biggest thing is you're going to want to make sure you're following your actual hair. So I'm going to do a little bit throughout my brow as well, not so many, but just a smidgen where it kind of needs to be filled, which for me is pretty much always going to be right there. And then I'll do just a couple right here as well. So just like dink, 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 dink. And just gives it a little bit more like hair-like strokes. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay, so this brow I can tell is like significantly longer than this one. So I'm going to drag this one out. So I'm just going to okay. And I'm going to comb them out one more time as well. And like right here, I can tell I need like just a smidgen more in my arch, but I'm going to use the pencil again. So I'll use the pencil when I'm trying to like fill space, and then I'll use the marker when I'm trying to make like hair. All right, so this brow looks really good in person. I mean, it doesn't look terrible in the camera, but like it looks like my hair. This one is a little fucked up because this eyebrow like never wants to cooperate. And typically my brows actually don't really take this long, but just trying to explain everything and like make sure they actually look really good is gonna take a little bit longer, but yeah. All right, I feel good about where they're at right now. So now I'm not actually gonna do all my makeup because I'm just going to Target. But basically now I would do the rest of my makeup. Okay, this one now looks thicker. Right. This one is a little bit thicker at the bottom. So that's what this like brow pen, I also love it for, is for like really sharp edges. Just adding a couple more false hairs. There we go. So yeah, you could add, you know, however many you want, whatever you want to do. I like a fuller brow, so I just tend to kind of mess with them a lot. But then I would do the whole rest of my makeup. But I'm not done with my brows. There's one more step that I will do. Oh God, sorry, I'm sitting on my feet. So there's one more step though, but I would do all of my makeup first, especially my powder makeup, because that shit will get in your brows. And then the very last step, which this one product, if I were to recommend any brow product to you, this would be it. But this is literally my holy grail. I will never live without this. I got you the clear version, but I have a tinted just because my eyelash or all of my body hair is white. So this actually will color, because right now only my skin is actually colored. Like my hair itself doesn't actually have color besides like the hair dye I have on it. So once I've finished all my makeup and like there's probably powder or highlighter or whatever in my brows, my literal very last step, like before I put on setting spray, is to take this. And for this, I actually start at the middle and I'll just like brush and even though I don't actually have hair there, I still will put some of this over there. And like the difference, this one just looks like so much more smooth. It's like all of my hairs are pressed down. None of them are like scraggly. And now my actual hair is colored with this. So it's not just my skin is colored. And then I'll just kind of fill it out. So that looks good. I'll do the other side. So you can kind of see the difference. The difference is very noticeable in real life though, but like this one's just way more manicured, and I can see like my actual hairs way better too, because I did grip this and grip my hair with this. And even though I don't have hair down here, it's still like, because I did the false hairs, it doesn't look unnatural that like my real hair is actually visible now. So I'm just gonna do the same thing on the other side. Oh fuck. This is why I do my brows first. There's just like this little patch here that's like a little uneven, so I'm just gonna take my pencil really quickly one more time. Just kind of got like here. Okay. And yeah, that is how I do my brows. They don't typically take 24 minutes. Sorry for such a long video. Most of the time it takes me like less than 5, but just trying to like talk through everything and all of that made it take longer. But yeah, like in person, it just looks like hair. This like probably could be blended just a little bit better, but whatever. It doesn't, it's not that noticeable in real life, but yeah, it's easy enough once you get the hang of it. The biggest thing for doing the false hairs though, to make it look natural. Because like, I really wonder if you can see, like, this is like not real hair. Like that's all hair strokes. Like this is real hair, but like from like here down isn't. Same with over here. And while of course the hair strokes are more defined over here because I use less base product, like it's still hair strokes over here. So the biggest thing though for like making realistic looking hair strokes is to keep them separated. Like don't do them so close together. Do like, and also do it with like a light hand, like a flick, and just like flick, and do it in the direction that your hair would normally grow. So, you know, if you want to do it here, they would go up, here they go sideways, here they would be like arched a bit. And I would definitely recommend doing this as your first step, especially while you're getting the hang of it, to just make sure that like if you do fuck up, you're not like having to restart your whole makeup. But hopefully this was helpful. If it wasn't, this is now bothering me that this like little if it wasn't though, let me know and I can film another one, and then like maybe later in the week I'll do a dip brow one for you, but I don't feel like washing this off to redo it, so that'll have to be another day. And yeah, don't feel like you have to be as psychotic about them as I am. I mean, you know how I am about my brows. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. Happy birthday, I love you.